Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to Yoopers Unite. We're meeting here at Lovemark Church. Happy to have you all. My name is Tina Taylor and I get the privilege of emceeing tonight. Do we have any new first-time attendees today? Anybody? A couple in the back? Yay! Thank you. Are we now in our third full month? I think we're in our third, fourth, we're in the fourth month of meeting, and we are still getting new people coming to each and every week's meeting. So I think that is fabulous, that we have people still attending and new people all the time. I think it's sad that we still need it, but I'm glad you're here. So if you see on your tables, there's agendas listed. I will leave it up to you to reread or read for the first time who we are and what we do. Basically, we are gathering to disseminate information from a variety of different groups across the Upper Peninsula in an effort to form community and stand up for democracy. There will be, Danielle, where are you at? Danielle has her hand raised right over here. And if you are a new person and you would like to get on our mailing list, she would be the person to see when we do the breakout sessions. Couple of little housekeeping things. There's bathrooms at the bottom of the stairs. There's also a handicap accessible one in that closed door with the 3 glass squares. If you need it, there it is. There are refreshments available, of course. On the table by the kitchen window, there's a Yoda that is a donation collection container. We use those donations to help cover the cost of, we give the church some money for allowing us to be here, and any incidental costs, things like buying cups for the drinks and paying for the online servers and different things like that. I try to always make sure that there is at least one sugar-free drink back there besides water, so if you have other food issues that you would need me to address, please let me know. On the note of refreshments, I won't be here next week. I do have somebody to cover that for me, but I'll be looking for 2 people to sign up to bring some type of a refreshment, sweet, savory, whatever you like. So if you are interested in providing a refreshment for next week, let me know when we do that breakout. All right, so we are being broadcast on YouTube. Thank you to Graham for doing that, and thank you, Oscar, for providing the sound system for us continually. We're at the point in the agenda where we're going to do reports from past week's events, trying to limit it to 5 minutes apiece. Was there a Marquette County Commission meeting? Can
I say a couple things?
You certainly can. Here's Jen Hill.
I actually have to leave early, so thank you, because it's art week and there's a lot going on. But look, there's still like 60 of us here. Okay. Who has spoken at the Marquette County Commission? And there was there was a resolution that the UP county, all 15 counties came out of UPCAP. There was a resolution about stopping the cuts. Has anyone had any communication following up with that with any of the commissioners? No. So we need someone to be a lead on that, to keep following up on that, to make sure it actually happens, because right now they don't have a county administrator and they don't have a treasurer, and they're interviewing people, and this is a thing that's going to fall through the cracks if we don't keep our eye on that. And I think once Marquette County does something, it does, although Houghton County has already passed one as well, so it has already happened. Is there anyone who's interested in continuing to help move that forward?
You might have to guide me, unless somebody else wants to do it.
Yeah, so we have 2 people who are going to work together from across the room. Yay! All right. And I will absolutely help you with all these things and make sure we have documents and what you need. But thank you very much. We're going to keep, we will keep that moving. Because Liz and I do have to leave, on the ballot initiatives, there's going to be a rollout on June 30th for Mop Up Michigan, which is Michiganders getting rid of money in politics. I've got the wrong, but that's the ballot initiative to do some kind of campaign finance reform. So that's coming on June 30th. That's going to keep rolling out. And there's also Babies Over Billionaires, which is a ballot initiative to tax millionaires an extra tax, and that tax would go directly to our schools. And we do need some, we're going to need, and that's connected to Voters Not Politicians. Is Deborah White here? She's not here. So we do have a lead for that. That's Deborah White. I can give you her contact information if you want more. I am serving as a conduit. I'm probably going to get really involved in the campaign finance one, but we're not exactly sure yet how that's going to work. Right now we're in the signature gathering phase where we're gathering the hundreds of thousands of signatures to get it onto the ballot. So, and right now there will be meetings in the State Board of Canvassers where language is approved. The 100-word definition of those two ballot initiatives is going to be approved. And that's the point we're at right now. So if you wanted to be involved in that, that is, it's just starting, and this is a great time. And there's a whole bunch of trainings and webinars and a structure to plug into. So if you're new to this, know that this is a place where a lot of people get started, is in this signature collection phase where you get trained. And 5051 is in the house. Yay. Say hi to 50, sorry, what's your name?
Jay.
Jay, that's right. Jay from 5051 came up from Iron Mountain to be with us today. Okay. So who might be interested in the ballot initiatives? This is a might, so you're not committed to things, but who's, yeah. So we've got some ballot initiative folks. So what's, you can contact me, but like I said, I have to leave, but you can also email me if you don't have my email. It's jdnnhill906, jenhill906@gmail.com. I already get tons of spam, so you can write me anyway. But please do write me, and I will get you in contact with them. And today is, you may have seen, the 3rd anniversary of losing Roe v. Wade in this country. I see Carmen Lepore is here and in the room as well, and who has been working on these issues for far too long enough to see them come in and then leave, and by God, we're going to get them back. So I want to recognize that it was only 3 years ago, and what we could accomplish in 3 years. But think about how focused and on target our opposition has been. They have taken step by step by step to erode our rights. We are going to need to be focused and just as intentional and just as determined, because we've been the nice guys, and nice is important, and kindness is always important. But they have taken these spears and leveraged them against our communities and split families. And we are going to come back, and we are going to fight. But also, not just fight, but also show compassion, show care, and show concern, so that we can go get these rights back. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry. I told Judy I'd say this. The candidates are also starting to roll into town. So candidates for governor are going to be at an event on Thursday, as well as a candidate for attorney general. Say hi to Charlie for us. And candidate for Secretary of State is going to be here on June 30, and another candidate for governor is going to be here. They're all starting to roll in. The best way to stay in touch with that is Indivisible is somewhat of a help. I'm looking at the Indivisible table. So sign up for Indivisible, yep.
Jen, who said this gathering tonight at the coffee?
I have to be a little careful because it's a fundraising event on Thursday, and I don't want to get Indivisible in trouble, but there is a fundraising event for a certain party. And this is a nonpartisan opportunity. Yeah, so there's, not that I'm suggesting that you do this, but it's a fundraising event, and here are pieces of paper. And it's from, is it the Market Township Hall at 6:30, does it say? 5:30. And there will be candidates for statewide office, for the governor and, what is it, an attorney general. Will be there. No, Thursday. Yeah, today's only Tuesday, so far. And then Thursday at 5:30, and there will be food. You're paying for the food. So it's a great chance. And that is the wonderful thing about being up here, is you're in the room with statewide elected officials with 50, 60 other people. You just don't get that kind of access. You literally can have a direct conversation with these people. So I highly encourage you, if you can't make that event, please come to others. No.
Okay.
I didn't attend, but I saw the article in the Mining Journal, and there were a couple things. One, there is a call for 2 replacements on the Airport Advisory Commission. I don't know if that call went out yet, but they need 2 people to serve on the Airport Advisory Commission. So there's an opportunity for you. Also, Dana Lalonde had a half-an-hour Zoom with Bergman about the Medicaid cuts. And his response was, she said, so I asked the questions about our Medicaid cuts that can affect our hospitals and our senior living, and he said, we have to wait and see because it's not done. And he said, when we, the Board of Commissioners, have people coming here that we should refer him to his office. That was his response. I thought you might want to know that. So you could go to his office.
So in response to Jen's eloquent way of saying we're going to fight what has happened to us, I'd just like to remind everybody what my first poster said. Spoiler alert, the North wins. Okay, so do we have an update or anything to discuss on t-shirt orders?
Hi, everybody. T-shirts, we have 38 left in the store, so get your orders in. I've left flyers on the tables. It's best if you order online rather than calling or going to the store. That's the easiest way to get your order in. So 38 left to sell out, and then we have to decide as a group. We'll probably have a committee to decide if we want to do another, batch of shirts.
And I do believe the recommendation had been if you were interested or able to purchase an extra shirt for somebody who might not be able to afford it, you just go ahead and purchase it and then pick it up and bring the shirt here that will be distributed then to somebody in need.
Did you request for your sizes?
We have not, to my knowledge, have any specific requests, so I would go with a large and it would fit most people, so.
I brought in 3 larges tonight that are available.
So we do have 3 right now large t-shirts available. If somebody is in need and can't afford to purchase one, please let us know. and we'll, you know, hook you up with one that's already been purchased or potentially get you on the list for one coming down the line. So we're going to wear these shirts at the 4th of July parade, but we also intend to be able to use them at multiple events coming up in the future. So we try to keep them neutral enough that they are applicable to all of the upcoming events. All right. Food pantry is on our reports from last week. We continue to collect food here every week. A reminder to bring things in, non-perishable items, hygiene items. There are a few places that do take some kids' novelty things, toys and whatnot. We are really hoping that we can establish a system with local businesses to be drop-off points for their employees. If you have a business or a contact with a professional organization that would be willing to be a drop-off point for gathering food substances and things like that, please let us know. We'll make the effort to organize so that we can collect and pick up. This week there had been a call out to get oil. So if you look at the agenda, there's often a little blurb on there that says what we're specifically aiming for, but food staples are food staples and anything is helpful. Those get distributed across a wide variety of places. If you know a place or a food pantry that would like to be on the list of getting our donations, please let us know. Joanne and her husband are doing the physical labor of doing all of that, and an excellent job. So a big heartfelt thank you to Joanne and her husband. And on that note, there's sometimes an event will happen where they get a large donation of fish that need to be processed and packaged and distributed. So if you have a specific interest in helping on an irregular, often last minute notice, cleaning, processing, packaging fish, you can either let myself or Joanne know, and we'll get you on that list. That would be helpful. On the reports from last week, we also had the event with Carl Bonack last week. I think that there was a review written by Brad and sent out in Indivisible's email. So if you're wanting to know how that went down, please look to that Indivisible email unless there's somebody here that attended and would like to speak to that. All right, so refer to the Indivisible email. Does LSRI have anything they would like to talk about? All right, well then we are going to invite LSRI, the Lake Superior Regional Indivisible Group, up to do their presentation. Presentation. Make it fancy.
And am I missing, has there been, we've been out of town for 3 weeks. Has there been a meeting since, no, it was just Saturday, right? No King's event.
2 Saturdays
Oh,
ago.
all right,
Yeah.
so you've been here, you
Yes.
talked about it.
Yes.
Good, good, otherwise I would say Martha should be up there. So do some thank yous and some updates, and then some specifics. Thanks to the members of both the Yoopers Unite and LSRI who helped with Pride Fest, the setup and the takedown, and thanks to Carla Patterson for organizing that. You did, it was your call out.
I don't even know what the Pride Fest is.
Pride Fest? Pride, sorry, I'm talking through my back.
You can have Juneteenth.
You didn't. Okay, blame it on me not being here. That was Juneteenth. Okay, thanks, Carla. Juneteenth. And people.
I'm all in.
Our next event.
Yes.
Volunteers?
Lots of people will do that, yeah. Volunteers. 2 volunteers are needed to represent Michigan, and that request came to LSI. Is that just today? Looking for somebody to a couple of people to work with the Midwest group, and there's at least maybe 4 or 5 states represented, planning, working toward a general strike that's set for September 2026. So it's sounding like right now working as a maybe monthly, I'm looking at Paul because he's on this, Zoom contact. So something to think about and let myself or Paul know. Doesn't mean traveling right now, but it might eventually mean some travel to meet face to face with these people who are all over the Midwest, from all over the Midwest. When that date doesn't happen until September of 2026. 2026, general strike.
Just one sentence, which is that the idea is that we need to be building our capacity to carry off something that big. And so the actions that we have been taking and will take between now and then are steps that help us learn how to connect with enough people, have enough influence, have enough power to actually pull it off. And there's a lot of people who put a lot of thought into this, so there's a very, this is not just like, don't go buy stuff at Target, this is a bigger, and that's important, and there's a lot of, that's actually having an impact. This is something that people are really going to be looking at.
Monthly, and what we read was some monthly actions to
that would certainly, a September 26th action would absolutely impact the midterm elections. November 26th, of course. Every seat in Michigan is up for election in November 26th, plus the House, the U.S. House. Every single U.S. House seat will be up.
So when we do, thanks Jen, when we get into breakout tables, working tables, we really hope that there'll be a table that can get together to talk about some ideas for what, if anything, are the two groups wanting to do to recognize July 17th. And you've probably read some about that, which is another day, a National Day of Action. Good Trouble lives on. A day to recognize, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's the day that John Lewis passed. So I'm hoping to get a table together and just talk about, and I talked with Brian Wallin and Paul, and we've been floating some ideas, but it would be great to get folks together to talk about, do we want to do something, and how big, and what might that be. Hoping for another table to talk about coordinating pop-up protests. And some of you have maybe seen that on LSRI emails and other emails. And Brad, I think you've had that information out on Yoopers Unite sites as well. Maybe not actions before, maybe even before July 4th, but between July 4th and the 17th, if something does happen on the 17th, and beyond, through the summer. So what we're thinking about with pop-up protests, smaller numbers, various locations, not just in Marquette, spread out. I've got a list, and at the working table, it's just a list of probably about 10 ideas of possible locations. And we're really looking for individuals who would help coordinate those so that all of that work of coordination doesn't fall on the same few people. And we can make it happen. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is being suggested by Ezra and Leah as well. I mean, this is a national, let's do this. Small, continue with the large protests, but also do some of these pop-ups. And continue to make our voices heard and being very visible. So that's it for my list. Barb Coleman has important words. Your presentation.
Oh, thank you, my presentation. Yeah. I had the opportunity to talk to the Marquette Police Department this week. Captain Finkbeiner has been very collaborative in terms of safety for us, definitely nonpartisan, and just looking at what is possible, what is not possible, what has been done, what should be done. I just always ask for, are we doing things the way we should be in terms of safety? I'm talking just safety here. And he was complimentary of the way we have handled things, including the incident that occurred on No King's Day with a business that was unhappy with us. He was glad that I called the police to come deal with that, even though I had already tried to talk to them, but much better for them to do that sort of intervention. We talked about venues and issues relative to that. One of the things to keep reinforcing is we must stay on the sidewalks, not on people's property, on even lawns. And we put something out that I thought was something to think about. Think about your house and where you live, and you mow the lawn up to the sidewalk. Technically, you probably don't own up to the sidewalk, but you consider it your yard. And so people will oftentimes consider right up to the sidewalk their property. And I would suggest that we don't get into splitting hairs of who owns what foot on either side of a sidewalk. So let's stay on the sidewalk, okay? Now, in terms of medians, we did have a couple people go out to the median on the highway, which is very not encouraged. Don't do that. There are some businesses that have a median in their entranceway. They have like an in and an out, something like that. That is not a place to be. It actually blocks the line of vision of traffic for the incoming and outgoing traffic. So just from a safety perspective, stay out of medians. That's the kind of conversation that we had, which I thought was very productive. We talked about, the trouble with venues, or how, where is there in any shape or form a venue where there would be enough parking, where that it wouldn't be a problem. And the only place that we could think of is Northern, by the Berry Event Center and the Dome and all that, parking that they had there. Do we know whether Northern would ever want us to have a big event there or not? My guess would be no, but, and I think we have to understand that if that is their feeling, because again, we are considered a political group. But that might be something to explore. In the meantime, for the upcoming pop-ups and things, and actually in the parade. For the parade, the safety team will not be there. Many of the people want to walk behind the float or have something to do with the float, and it is not our event. It belongs to the Kiwanis Club and to the city of Marquette. So we are not going to go put on vests and say we're there in some official capacity. However, it is everyone's duty, all of us, to de-escalate, not engage. We agreed that this is probably a very high likelihood you're going to get things yelled from the sideline. It certainly would be nice if we didn't have signs that were offensive. And when I say offensive, this is a family event. And anybody that knows me knows I don't have any trouble using all kinds of words. But there are places and there are times, and a family event is not one of those places. So let's make our presence be a positive thing and show that we can take the higher road. It may even be possible that people might lob something from the side. Unless it hurts somebody, there's not really a reason to call the police for that. But
that seems unlikely.
yeah,
Let me just say that right now. As someone who marched as a Democrat
yeah.
in Baraga and in Scandia, no one even ever said anything to me, and I had reproductive rights on my T-shirt.
See, I'm glad to hear that.
Please,
Because I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that.
that.
If you don't agree with a candidate, it's like a candidate. We kind of stand for this whole thing on the back of your T-shirt. You know, there's so people that disagree with a myriad of things might yell something or do. If it happens, just if it happens, don't engage, please don't engage. Just smile, look the other way. If they want a reaction, don't give them one. Okay. I plan to be at Harlow Park, not in orange vest, no orange vests there, but if you have a question about something or I can help you with something that's going on, you have my phone number. And that's basically all I have to say. Thank you.
So next on our list, we had We the People, and I do not believe those representatives are here tonight, but I did see a message posted in the Discord that they have a large Zoom meeting tomorrow, and that there is a link on the Discord. I don't know if it was put in the Yooper, the Facebook channel or not. Anybody know?
Looks like it got added.
It did?
Yep.
To the what? Did anybody attend the Transit Authority meeting?
I believe Caitlin did.
Yeah, Caitlin did, and she's not here, so.
And that's what the topic of the discussion will be about for We the People, if anyone's interested in getting together with a group of people to try and discuss ways that we can make MarkTran more functional and to make transit in general more accessible and more positive of a working force to actually serve the people that it's supposed to.
Right, and I did let Ruby know, but just so that there's a large group of people that knows. Totally aside, I don't think there was any connection with my having participated with a few of the initial meetings with We the People, but MDOT sent me a questionnaire, and if I filled it out, I was offered a gift certificate. And having done that, they then offered me and my family, my adult children who are drivers, if we participated in a week-long study with an app on our phone, they would give us a gift certificate for that too. So I've encouraged We the People to make a connection with MDOT because they are apparently actively seeking input right now from rural residents. So I don't know if anybody else got a similar thing, but just wanted you to know that they are actively looking at information from people. All right, tomorrow's Voices, I don't think we have a representative here. Silas is doing orientation right now, so no enemy kids right now, but they're doing a great job over there. Just a reminder that if you see things posted on Yoopers Unite or in the Discord, they really would like for the broader community to come and support events that they host and have on campus. They're beginning their activism, careers and looking for some guidance and support and encouragement from people who have done it before, or just having, bodies in the seat to make it known that they are actively participating and wanting to engage. So if you see something that you can attend, please do so. Ranked choice voting, is Sharon here? No. So I have also been involved with ranked choice voting. I will be here for the remainder of the evening if you would like to know more about it. Again, it is a ballot initiative that we're trying to get on the ballot, and we're still in the process of getting the language approved. So once that happens, we will be sending people out to collect the signatures that then is required to get it on the ballot. So as I said last week, if you signed a letter for me, it was not the actual signature for getting it on the ballot. It was just to try to get the Board of Canvassers to respond to us quickly. So when the next time somebody approaches you from ranked choice voting, if you are interested in helping that get onto the ballot, go ahead and make the signature, because anything you signed thus far is not the thing. 4th of July parade. Faith, do you have an update or anything? All right, well, we're going to give way here to Faith to talk about the 4th of July then.
We're doing posters on the side of the parade. Here's an example of one.
Side of the float?
Yep. This goes on to the parade, and
Float.
on the float, yeah. And we have 8 more that we need. We're doing 20 total, and they go on the sides and the front and the side. So if anybody would like to sign up for a sign, there's a piece of paper over there. There's topics you can pick. This person picked standing with our veterans as an example, and that way we don't get duplicates. So if you sign up for something, if you have a better idea, you can use your better idea. Just put it on the slip. So there's that. We're going to build the float on Wednesday, the 2nd, at Peter and Pam's home in the afternoon, 3-4 o'clock. If we break for dinner, we'll probably do pizza, but I don't think it's going to take that long. But we do need a couple bodies. We're looking, we're probably going to have to get some 2x4s yet, but we've got some of the lumber and maybe some screws. And as far as the parade goes, it is long and it could be hot. So we're thinking, if somebody really wants to walk and march, but they realize that they can't get to the end of the parade, we're thinking that we would have, rather than having one big group at Harlow Park, we would have 3 groups, so that if you want to duck out because you've just had enough, you can join some blue shirt people. And the blue shirt people, it's written on this little piece of paper. We're looking to put some blue shirt people at the corner of Washington and Lincoln, the corner of 7th Street and Washington, which would be Harlow Park and 4th Street intersection. So if you're marching along and you just had enough, you can duck out or you can join at that point too. As far as the people marching, we're encouraging that you carry a flag. Indivisible brought us a package of, I think, 300 little 4x6 flags that you can have to use and keep and take to other protests. We're encouraging flags, and we're going to be handing out sticker flags to the kids. We have a bunch of those. You can carry a sign, but it needs to be appropriate for the parade. It needs to be family friendly. It cannot have political people pointed at and
Celebration.
and no F words. So I mean, it has to be like this. We're this is what we support, not what we want to tear down. Although we want to tear down a lot, but we want to stand united, and that is the message that we need to get on this parade. The question was, how can our group best support the parade from the sideline? Wear your t-shirts and carry signs that are appropriate, flags, and you can chant along as we chant along in the parade or sing along. We're going to have songs and call and response. Somebody might have a bubble machine. I'm not sure about that yet. Possibly. You got a bubble machine? Right. Okay. And this is our call and response gal back here in the corner. This is Sally. She's going to be doing the call and response on the back of the parade. So we're meeting in front of Walgreens at 12:15, and to sign up, we have 35 people signed up so far. I kind of thought we'd have more by now. But we have time. And you sign up, there's a link. You just go to it, and all you gotta do is give them your name, phone number, and email so we can contact you with information. And that's it, say I'm coming. So it's easy. And I have a question. I want to get a hold of the sign man. You know where the sign man is? He goes to the corner at the post office, and he brings all the signs. That's Brian. I need to get a hold of him, because I want to use his signs. If they're appropriate, I'm going to go through them, and we're going to put them in the back of the truck. And if we have signs that are a little objectionable, we might trade out. And then we'll give them back to Brian when we're done. So if you could get me his information, that'd be great. I think that's it. Yeah. Any questions? Oh, and I wanted to have Bob say something about, he called us this morning about some information that, I think just to keep our do not engage even more reinforced. If you want to come up and just say one, because I'm over my 5 minutes already, so.
I'm Bob Anderson from the Kiwanis Club, and I'm director of the parade. And I'm so excited that you're going to have 200 to 300 marchers. How exciting that is. But on Monday, I got an alarming message from Captain Finkbinder asking me whether Kiwanis was going to let Indivisible in the parade. And I said, of course we are. They paid their fee on time. And then he was asking about Marquette MAGA, that they have been getting wind of our parade. And so they're concerned about whether we're going to be protesters. And so he wanted to know what's going to happen. So he's concerned. And I think that if you follow the guidelines that Faith just said, you can't have any offensive signs because it's the 4th of July. The theme is United We Stand. And that's going to be the big banner that you're going to have. So please, no signs that say dump Trump. Don't mention the name of any politician. So make it as nonpartisan as you can. Now, Cara Bonak is going to be in the parade. And the Kiwanis Club has to let everybody in the parade as long as they're going to be appropriate. I mean, we can't discriminate against anybody. Of course not. It's First Amendment right of assembly. Captain Finkbinder understands that. So, in other words, this is not like the No Kings. We have to subdue things. Any questions about that? Yeah.
Can you open carry in the parade?
Weapons?
Yeah. If there's, just asking if there's gonna be a monitor in the parade, I'm just curious. Because that was a concern when we did the one downtown.
You know, that's a Captain Finkbinder question.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Peter, did you have a
Not
question?
driving with alcohol.
Yeah, thank you for this update. This is a little confusing because this here says we encourage parade walkers to carry American flags and capital N-O-T, not carry signs.
Thank you. I miscounted myself, but that is kind of what people are recommending.
Can I just say, as an experienced parade person, you don't want to carry a sign for 2 miles. You just don't. Like,
Right.
it's bad enough. You get really sick. You know, people make fun of you doing this because you know what? It gets really old. And so, so I would say just carry a flag. Like, let's just take
Okay,
If I can just speak to having done this, just carry a flag. Just,
Mandy for the,
yeah. And just, yeah, just good to-
so to clarify, we're not supposed to carry signs, period.
No, I'm not saying
Except for the
supposed
flag.
to, I'm not saying supposed to, I'm just recommending that,
Well, we're gonna have some people managing all this, I presume.
You're gonna have a banner, Pete, there's gonna be a big banner.
Right, but in terms of perhaps someone to discourage people from carrying signs in the parade, I'm just asking the question.
This is something that happened today that we got rid of, and this has been a very organic thing from the.
Microphone.
Things always change, and
I mean, we started this 6 weeks ago, and things change from week to week constantly, and today, it became apparent that we probably should not have signs in the parade. Because it's, yeah.
That's fine.
But we have a lot of flags. We have little flags, you can bring your own flags if you want to carry a big flag, but get a little heavy. I have a fanny pack. I don't recommend that. Many people don't understand what an upside down flag means. We don't need to do that, yeah.
It's what we're for, so let's be happy.
So, is that, thank you, Peter, for bringing that up. I'm gonna use a fanny pack with the front end of my flag in it to help me carry my flag as an idea for somebody who's going, these things get heavy. Or you can have a little 4x6 cut flag that, you have plenty of. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing is that if there are catcalls from the MAGA people from the crowd and spectators, of course, ignore it. I don't think there's going to be, but there could be. And we have 45 crossing guards, half of them are NMU cadets, the other are Kiwanis volunteers, trying to quell and calm down this shouting that probably will not occur, but it is possible.
Is there a MAGA group that says they're going to be in the parade?
There is no MAGA group that's in the parade. They have not applied. If they apply, I will deny them because they're past the deadline. It was something that Thinkbinder brought up. Another question?
So I don't have a question, but I've got a little note. And to tag on to what Faith was saying, I did a little map here of the route and marked Lincoln Street is number 1, 7th Street is number 2, and 4th Street is number 3. And on the parade table over here, we'll have sign-ups. So if, instead of meeting at the beginning of the parade, you want to gather at Lincoln, 7th, or 4th, sign up on here. And again, like Faith was saying, if you want to start at the start and drop out somewhere, that's fine. But if you don't want to start at the start and want to pick up and walk the last half or third or whatever, we'll have a sign-up sheet over there for that. So thank you.
I'm going to say if you have any other questions, please bring it to the breakout group. We got to keep moving. It is already 7:52.
Thank you, 4th of July parade people. I already talked about refreshments. Is there anybody here to talk about the general strike and Delta County Unified? Oh, there you are, Mike. Come on up. Okay, Mike's gonna use the microphone at his table.
Okay, I'm Mike Beach, and I'm from Delta County Unified, like the self-appointed liaison person, and so I can give you a quick update on what DCU is doing. last meeting on June 12th, we discussed 6/10/25 Take Action Tuesday protest event and an incident with the counter protesters. And one of the ideas that our leader came up with, Leah Belanger, she's the founder of the group, suggested leaving one of the corners at Lincoln and Lovington open, and if pressed, consolidate and leave two corners open for the counter protesters. If it still continues, then of course we would contact the police. But we also believe in the do not engage approach. At that meeting, we discussed security for the No Kings event on the 14th. Again, our mantra is do not engage. Leah purchased high visibility vests and whistles for security folks. And she also has a bullhorn with a siren function. And she also talked to public safety beforehand. And they did make an appearance there. I was a security person. There was nothing we really had to deal with at the event, which is a good thing, because I'm not the best security person. What I found over the years is when people get into conflict, I sort of get enthralled by it, and I just sort of want the conflict, and I don't know that I would be good at responding to it. But I can tell you, Leah's real good about it. She's right on the ball. She does a good job with it. I presented, of course, the Yoopers Unite updates that I gathered as we meet. I'm always taking notes. And talked about the info on the t-shirts. I'm going to grab one of these handouts and take it back to our group. And I know Teresa Ross wanted a t-shirt. If you're not familiar with Teresa Ross, she's the lady who came up with the community hall for Jack Bergman with the empty chair way back in February. And then other people started picking up on it. But she got some coverage by Rachel Maddow. And if Leah is our leader, Teresa's kind of like the heart of our group. We had a bake sale fundraiser at No King's Day and a donation can because we wanted to take advantage of Indivisible's offer to match donations up to $500. I don't know, did you all do that as well?
No.
Okay. My wife and I set up a shelter with a table and chairs for stressed out folks to come and talk to her. My wife is a mental health therapist. Her business is Peach Blossom Therapy. And she had signs, and one of the signs was based off, if you remember, Peanuts and Lucy setting up her little stand. And so she set up a sign based on that. It was kind of cute. But no one was stressed out and didn't really have to use it for that. But we did use it shelter from the rain because it was very rainy down there. Was it rainy up here for your event? No? Oh, nice. Yeah, it was cold and rainy for us, and we still got 200, 250 people, so we were very, very pleased with that turnout. We had about 10 speakers and music in between. And yeah, went very well. DCU now has a tax ID number, a bank account. We need a board with a president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and a member at large. And this is going to be voted on the 6/28/25 meeting of DCU. I don't think I'm going to be able to be there. But I was sort of volunteered to be the secretary. So it looks like I'm going to be secretary for the group because I guess I'm good at taking notes and doing that sort of thing. We do have a website, deltacountyunified.org, and we have a first post is about cuts to national parks. It's by a forest ranger named Greg Bruff. We did a June 19th Pride Month / Juneteenth event. I was out of town for that. We're still looking to establish a permanent meeting place. And we do have lawn signs designed by Maureen just down the road here. And I brought it to the last meeting, and I wanted to bring it to this meeting. If you haven't seen it, I think it's a great idea. This is my personal sign. This is going to go out my lawn. I would love to see more of these signs to kind of counterbalance all the signage that MAGA seems to have out there. And then, and you can see me if you have more questions about it, but they're just down the road, and they... Oh, is that, am I pointing the wrong way? Okay, they would know better. Yeah. So I would encourage that. Let's see, we're planning a Zoom meeting with Michigan Attorney General candidate Mark Taunton here pretty soon. Okay, so I have a couple tasks that came out of the last meeting. One is to talk to Jen Hill, and I didn't get a chance, and it looks like she's gone. I see her chair's empty. We have folks interested in hearing her present her training on how to speak at local meetings, such as city council or county commissioners. So whoever's taking notes, if you could get that in the notes, and then she could see it, and hopefully we can get her down there. Okay, so for the general strike thing, I checked today, there's 355,576 committed folks at General Strike US. They're looking for well over 10 million. And if people are interested, I will stay, and I do have some handouts and talking points for the General Strike. And I'm definitely interested in possibly volunteering. I don't see her. If I could get some information, I'll contact that person, but I would like a little more information on what it would entail before I commit fully to it. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. And finally, I did bring some oatmeal raisin cookies for a treat.
And if you don't know, Mike's baking is really good.
All right, is Jen here wanting to talk about reproductive health resource clinic updates? She left? Oh, no, she's there. I'm going to speak on the microphone in the back of the room.
Just wanted to update that I was not there, but they met and created a board and passed the bylaws. And was there. They are now in the process of getting the 501c3, and we'll be doing some fundraising. They'll have a couple of different committees going, the clinical committee, a supportive committee, and also a fundraising committee. So they will be looking for more people to get involved. There'll be an advocacy committee to sort of support individuals going through an abortion, or whether they're just needing sort of guidance and support for that. What else? Anything that you wanted to have? You were at the meeting.
July 22nd, we'll have a meeting as we had at the first organizational one. It'll be at the Federated Clubhouse at 6:30. Yes, I think that'll be a large one. Yeah, that's a large event, and people will get an update on what has been happening, and we'd like to invite people to join committees and help us move this project forward.
And I'd just like to say it's been amazing for people. It really gives me a lot of hope that a group locally like this can come together, and I really think there'll be some long-term sustainable things that they provide to the community and can be a role model for other, especially rural areas. So it'll be a good thing to get involved in. Thanks.
I want to make sure I heard that correctly. Did you say services would be operational on July 1?
Yes, so I was just going to confirm that what it will be is medical abortions will be provided at the urgent care, the new facility, and it'll be on a sliding scale, and actually a lower cost than Planned Parenthood is or was here. So it's an amazing group of, particularly a couple of young doctors who are doing a lot of the actual work with women, and they already have one person. Medication of to 12 weeks, medical abortions.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to squeeze in, because I wasn't on the agenda for a couple of other things. If you're here, you're not participating, there was a trans support group started tonight. It is going to be meeting monthly. It does conflict with this meeting, but they're calling it anything but cis. because. So if that is something you would be interested in, I would highly encourage you to try to get there next month when they meet, as opposed to coming here. We can always give you the notes from here, or somebody can, tape it for you. Getting to a support group meeting is much more important. So if that is something that affects you, please do that next time. I am going to be starting the counterpart to that for family members or allies of trans people. And my first support group meeting will be tomorrow. We're meeting at Peter White Public Library and at 6:30. And then every other month I'm going to do a daytime. So I'm going to alternate between an evening and a daytime to try to facilitate getting as many people to the meetings as possible. If you know somebody that is trans, if you have a family member or a loved one and you would like to come in and have some support and talk about things that affect you and your family or your relationship, please feel free to come in and talk about it. It is not a professionally driven meeting. There won't be like a psychiatrist there. It is just lay people talking about how it affects them and giving them opportunity to learn and educate ourselves together in community so that we can support our trans loved ones as best as possible. Thank you. And on that note, because I have gray hair, I'm going to now start calling myself a granny, even though I'm really not. Not in a hurry to be one either. But I have seen a lot of videos online about a granny group that does political activities with song, and I would be very interested in talking to anybody that would like to try to formulate a local group of people, and you don't have to be a real granny, but just people that would like to get together in music to come up with some ways that we can do maybe some of the pop-up protests or attend other events and do a little bit of music therapy, and that would be something I would like to talk to people about. Do you have anything else for UP Rainbow Pride? Donovan's gonna have a second to talk.
Hi there. Normally here to talk about queer shit, but actually, quick update on Juneteenth last week. June 19th in Marquette was celebrated at NMU. I saw a whole handful of you that were there. For anyone else who wasn't there, feel free to come out and join it next year. Juneteenth marks 2.5 years following the establishment of the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing slaves in the South. And that was marking the time that in the state of Texas, slaves were actually finally notified that they were free. Up until that point, 2.5 years following the Emancipation Proclamation, they were still being kept from knowing that they had been freed. And in fact, I learned that other states were still sending slaves to Texas so that they could continue to be a free labor force. But beyond just attending the event myself and another, they had a movie night the following night with a panel discussion afterwards. And what I really appreciated hearing from the organizers and from the panel afterwards was very similar to what we talked about with Pride Fest. But again, that's not just a persons of colors holiday. That is an American holiday. That's when the entire country stepped up and actually made a step forward. I won't say that we made the finish line, but made a step forward in actually acknowledging all people and their value. So it was a really well-organized event. We can definitely bring the attendance and bring more awareness and put it in our hearts more and more. Independence Day is exciting as it is, but independence didn't come to all of us on the 4th of July. Beyond that, more queer shit, there is coming up this, pardon my phrasing. I use that word because I believe I have the right to. There is coming up this Saturday a KBIC 2 Spirit Plus outing that is going to be held up at the reservation in Baraga. If you want to know more information about that, I'd be happy to share it with you. Looks like it's a block party style, so it should be a good time. They're going to be doing tie-dyeing, and there's going to be lunch provided, and karaoke and dancing. I'm seeing the poster in my head as I read through all of this. I don't have anything else for the LGBTQIA community at the moment, but I do have something that I was asked to share with the group. That was an event from last week, which was the rally for the nurses union. And I understand it sounds like it was a great rally, happened on Monday. Many people turned out. There's also a lot of colleagues at the hospital wearing red shirts in solidarity. And it apparently was noted, and the employers have backed off their plan to switch to an inferior health insurance plan for the time being, and this is being counted as a huge victory. So, collective action, the things we do here do make a difference in the community. That's all, thank you.
I couldn't help myself. I just want you to know that I had a spinal cord injury, and that little tiny bit of a jump, that deserves a round of applause. It's only my 3rd year walking again. Christians against Christian nationalism. Is there anybody that wants to talk about that? All right. Next on the printed list was the Responsible Firearms Group. Last week there had been a discussion, a roundtable group about a number of us that had wanted to talk about gun safety in a responsible way, that we were feeling we had have limited options for training and education, because so often if you go to any type of organized event, it is very full of MAGA supporters and people. A lot of the people in the group discussion were women, and so we just were looking for a way to be able to talk about gun safety and respectful, appropriate gun ownership. That we wanted to have that kind of a discussion. There's concerns about not having it be affiliated with Yoopers Unite for obvious reasons, and I think that the roundtable discussion ended up talking about removing the conversation from the Yooper Unite Discord, but because we are a nonpartisan group and we've offered to be able to spread information that if we organized that group outside of Yoopers Unite, we could come here and say, we're going to be getting together on, you know, whatever the date is, and if you'd like to participate, you are more than welcome. So that is how that, I guess, was resolved. That group that wants to talk about gun safety will be putting together more information aside from Yoopers Unite, and then they would come back and present like the rest of the groups do, and not actually be a part of the Yoopers Unite core. And then last but certainly not least, we have a representative from 5051 here, Jay, and we would love to have you come on up and give us a little introduction. And
thank you guys for having me again. My name is Jay Gibbs. I'm a community organizer and a union rep based out of Iron Mountain, but I cover with the union that I work for, UFCW, United Food and Commercial Workers. We have shops in Escanaba. We used to represent the medical assistants at Planned Parenthood here in Marquette. And then we cover things in the QAnon all the way over to Ironwood. So I am all over the UP. Was connected with the 5051 Michigan group. They're mostly based downstate, but you know, after speaking with their state committee, which I was admitted to, being the UP lead for the region, we want to make sure that we're getting the 5051 movement's resources and tools available for YU, and making sure that we're promoting the National Days of Action with Indivisible. Just making sure we can work together and try to, I know it was mentioned in earlier agenda items, just saying that getting things out of just the Marquette region, because Marquette has such a great turnout, which is fantastic for getting a central location, but then trying to grow that engagement in other more populous areas, but maybe, you know, less populous than the Marquette region. But you have a big hub in Ironwood, Houghton. Iron Mountain Kingsford is getting more active. I've been doing a lot of work with the Dickinson County Dems out of that area. Our marches have been getting 100 to 300 people, which is a lot when the marches used to bring about 20 to 30 people. So we're really excited to see that. And then in my work, you know, being a union rep, I like to be able to work with, you know, progressive and labor-minded folks. You know, working class people everywhere across this region deserve to have their voice heard. So I'm just really excited to be here, being able to lend what resources I can as far as planning things, helping coordinate things, being able to volunteer my time as it's available. Like I said, my work carries me all across the UP, so if you think there's an area that could have some attention brought to it or help organizing something there, and you just need some extra feet on the ground to get something built in an area, please feel free to reach out. I'm on the Discord, I'm on the Facebook group. More than happy to meet you where you're at and bring what I can to get success all across the region. So thank you again.
thank you so much. I'm going to jump back really quick. I just wanted to let you know that we did get a letter from the St. Vincent de Paul for our food donation. It's a brief letter, and I just want to read it to you quickly. Dear Yoopers Unite, on behalf of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul Society Negaunee Conference, we wish to thank you for your generous donation of 221 pounds, 15 ounces of food and hygiene products. Your contributions will be put into immediate use, helping our friends and neighbors in need right here in Negaunee and Palmer. We appreciate your support, and you can be sure your donation is making a difference to families who rely on such assistance to help them through some difficult times. Thank you again, and God bless you. Steve Peruco, who is the president of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. So just wanted to share that we do get positive response and feedback. That is just one of the donation locations. We have reached quite a number of them, and like I said earlier, if you know of another pantry or group that would like to be able to be a recipient of those donations, make sure and let us know. On that note, we are going to do a brief intermission, I guess you would call it. Please feel free to grab a snack. Then we're going to sit down at some tables for some breakout conversations. And I have on my list that we are going to have a July 17th Good Trouble group.
Where is July 17th Good Trouble Group? That's over with Paul.
So right up here in front for the Good Trouble conversation. Is somebody going to lead the conversation for the pop-ups?
Pop-up, I'll be right here.
The pop-up table?